Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 61. We're rocking hard, ready to get into some action. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things today. First and foremost, we're going to discuss the changes to the Sith Raid. We're going to talk about the Gear 12 Plus pieces and whether you should make the investment and purchase them or not. Then we're going to get into our usual gameplay here while we're doing that. Play some Arena. And we're going to get into the top 5 and the meta report as we usually do, and then we'll get back into some more arena gameplay and the Q&A towards the end of the stream. But as usual, I'm joined by my bestest bud on the planet, good old Maurice. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for another exciting week of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes action. There's definitely some cool stuff to talk about. I mean, we had some minor updates. I guess again, nothing really tremendous over the last few days, but there was that change to the Sith Raid that really doesn't affect too much the heroic Sith Raid. More so the tiers 1 through 6. Correct?
That is correct. Pretty much all of them are pretty much just for tier 1 through 6. There's a couple that affect all. They made some changes to the randomness of like Nihilus. Basically, they just found out. I guess they've been getting feedback that just the tiers 1 through 6 is too difficult for the rewards, and it's not rewarding at all. So I think they've been reducing the difficulty in the tiers 1 through 6. Let's see, I'm looking for the specifics of it. I think they just reduced the health of the bosses.
Okay.
Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. The randomness of some mechanics. The balance of effort versus rewards is what they're trying to address. In terms of randomness, basically, let's talk about, like phase 1, we've got Nihilus, and you think you've timed it right, then all of a sudden just Nihilus randomly annihilates you, gets an extra turn, something like that. But they're trying to reduce that. It's likely better to restart when Darth Nihilus Annihilate comes off cooldown sooner or later than expected. I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to reduce the need to go in, retreat, try again, retreat. Basically, you just go in once. They're trying to reduce the RNG a little bit so you don't have to constantly retreat. Basically trying to reduce the amount of time these raids take. Even in the heroic guilds like our guild, if I go in my raid team and something doesn't go right, I can retreat 2-3 times, but after that, if I retreat again, I'm starting to gamble. I might miss the phase altogether. So this would be nice. Nihilus' kit will be adjusted to become more predictable. Annihilate is such an important ability to strategically plan for in phases 1 and 4. They want to reduce the chance you get caught unaware by Annihilate and improve the likelihood that you'll be able to use Unbreakable Will at the right time. And that is tiers 1 through 7 in phases 1 and 4. In tiers 1 through 6, the non-heroic tiers, phase 3, they're going to reduce the randomness of Trey's lightsabers. Just basically reset a run to get a decent score. For some teams, success against Trey is heavily dependent on which buffs start on her sabers and who they decide to attack first. It's basically saying they have several ideas how to solve this issue, but they will need some additional balance testing, which is good. Last time, as we witnessed, they tried to balance it and kind of broke it. So it is nice to see that they're, communicating and they're taking a different path this time. Because I know a lot of players were unhappy with how they handled the P3, the bonds of weakness adjustments they were trying to make.
Yeah.
So this is a step in the right direction.
I think the main thing about that was really upsetting was more that it was just kind of like a rush to get it done, and then what ended up happening was, I mean, I guess they took it back and made an adjustment to it anyway. So I don't know. I think that they'll always kind of do that. I mean, they'll always do things here and there that maybe not everybody agrees with, and then they'll try to find a happy medium to see what the best option was. I just got totally annihilated there with that prepared squad by a CLS team. So I don't even know who you can beat with that team. I mean,
Well,
I was like, I was thinking about making a video about them the other day, and I was like, I don't even know where to start with this team. You know, to be honest with you.
yeah. Let's see. Do you have like a Bastila available to play, or no? Just these teams we see on the screen.
I don't have a Bastila to play right now. I can play against. I could do a first order team.
Well, yeah. Thane's asking to see the solo, like you use the solo characters against Bastila for first order.
Yeah, I could do first order. Bastila, I can't. Let me just see what I can do here. Hold on.
Now, there's a little more in the post. You know, they want to reduce the time in the raids and how they're going to do that. Tiers 1 through 6 in all phases. They're just going to reduce the health of Nihilus, Scion, and Freya. So just speed it up, which is good. Because I know before we got to heroic, like you know, we slogged through the T6s, but almost, I mean, it was almost more beneficial to do the T5s because the T6s took so long. You just end up wasting so many raid tickets. So that's good. And what they're doing is you know, we got the mod update coming, and we're gonna need all this salvage and the components to, you know, craft the mods, get them all the way up to 6 dot. They're adding mod salvage to the tier 6 and 7 of the raids. So now, like kind of what I just touched on, tier 2, they're adding a little more bonus for T6. I've heard several YouTubers, you know, podcasts where they talk about do the tier 5, don't even bother with the tier 6. So this will add a little more incentive to maybe do that tier 6. And then they're going to remove some. It says some, not all. It says remove some challenge gear from the AAT pool. So that's nice, I guess. You know, I mean, it does suck when you go in there and you do spend an hour or so trying the old content, the tank raid, and you go in there and you get your package and, like, you know, one of your reward boxes or MK8 binoculars that you have, you know, 3,500 of. So that's good. Kind of just a little bonus there. Basically, the rest of it that's pretty much the gist of it. Everything else, just, you know, that's pretty much it.
Now, what's the update to the rewards? Like, what changes are they making to the reward structure?
The only thing it really says is they're adding the mod salvage to tier 6 and 7. So whatever the pieces look like, whatever the components or whatever it is for the mods, I guess we'll be getting those from the tier 6 and 7 of the raids.
But they're not changing the amount of full pieces or the chances that you have of getting full pieces in the top 20 or top 30?
Not in this particular post. I do not think so. I think it's still going to be the top heavy 1 through 10. Get the bulk of it, you know, so, which is a conversation that, I don't know, that's pretty hot topic still.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is. And you know, I don't know. I mean, I personally, I mean, just to dive into that a little bit, I agree with that. I mean, I think that, again, you know, I understand that not everybody in the guild can get the same exact rewards, because, I mean, it shouldn't be. I mean, like, there shouldn't be one person doing all the work to give somebody who literally just posts a 0 the same rewards. But I think it should be a little bit less RNG. I think you know, in the top 10, the percentages at least should be increased, and then they should maybe expand it to the top 20 for full pieces. And I don't know. I mean, again, I know that we're getting Darth Treya shards already, so I don't know how much more they can really add as far as a reward is concerned. I mean, you should be excited about that, but I don't know. I feel like if there was something else, like if they, I mean, adding the, I guess the salvage for the mods, that might do it. Again, we don't have the mods yet to really, kind of, you know, kind of go crazy over. Like, we're not really, it's not really a tangible thing yet because we don't have the new mod update yet. So maybe when that comes out, depending on how much of a benefit that gives players in arena, etc., that may make it more exciting to try to get into the top 10 or top 5. But I mean, honestly, I don't know. I've always been kind of not really big about being in the, you know, the top 10 or top 20. The only thing that makes me think about it now is getting more Gear 12 plus pieces and getting a chance to get full pieces. That's really the only thing that makes me think about it. And that's still not enough to make me go out and start investing in certain characters to do it. So the only thing I can imagine that would do that might be maybe these Gear 12 plus pieces. Not Gear 12. I mean these mod salvage, because again, if we're seeing some nice increases in the mods, it could be worth it if you're going to be able to increase your mods, or increase your mods significantly at least.
Yeah, it'd kind of be nice to see them kind of do the mod salvage the same for everybody, I guess.
You think?
But I mean, the top 10 raids, it sucks. But the guys that do try the hardest in the guild should be rewarded. But it just really sucks for the guys that are like 11 through 20 that are trying and they just happen to have a bad RNG run and maybe miss the top 10. Doesn't mean that they're not trying or they have a lesser roster. Even it's just RNG got them that day. And it sucks to have your roster kind of stall out. If you can't get in the top 10, 50, like you suggested, maybe putting it up to top 20, and that'd be a decent solution to that problem. Because generally, everyone's going for it now because they want Treya, but in a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, it's gonna be just like the Rancor, where like 12 people hit it. 12 people hit the Rancor the other day in our guild. I mean, that's just because everyone just posts zeros. So, I mean, those guys, the guys that post 0, yeah, they probably shouldn't be getting Gear 12 plus pieces, but people that participate should. So.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, I'm now speaking of Gear 12 plus. We discussed a little bit earlier that they added the ability for you to purchase Gear 12 plus pieces out of the store. So they have, I believe, 4 pieces you can buy. One individual for $19, and then the other 3 pieces you can get for, I believe, a total of like $60 American. So
yeah, I think it's $64.99 for the big pack. I think the small one is $24.99. Let me look, because I want to see what pieces are in it. I have not purchased it. Have you?
No, I have not. And I'm kind of wanted your feedback on if you were thinking about it, or if it was enticing to you at all. I know we discussed it a little bit before the stream, but I mean, my thoughts were this. I mean, I felt like, I mean, they are exciting. I did like, I did have my finger like hover over the button for a little bit because I wanted to, ideally, of course, I'd love to spend the money to get it if I had the extra cash, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get them through the course anyway. I don't know what 3 pieces is gonna do for me. Except maybe just get me get me there a little bit faster. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it was like a, I don't know, if it was like a really good deal where it was like you got, let's say, enough to do your whole arena team for like $100, that might be something I'd be interested in. You know what I'm saying? But for $60 to be able to get like 2 characters, just a little tad bit better, I don't know.
Well, if you break it down, like in terms of in-game value, like it's nothing in the it's a mobile game, right? So you can make the case that you shouldn't spend money on anything. But like if you've ever bought a stun cuff or a stun gun or a Carboni out of shipments for crystals, that's roughly $10, right? And these pieces are about $20 a piece. I mean, because I think you get a handful of crystals, you get some omegas, you get some training droids, whoopee, but you get a little bit bonus. But I mean, these pieces basically are $20 a piece, and these pieces you can argue are clearly at least twice as good as a single stun cuff or stun gun that the majority of us have probably bought at some point. For 1,400 crystals.
Right.
The value's good. Crystal, like gear for crystal wise, it's good, but it's very expensive. So, I mean, there's 3 pieces. I think if you're on a newer shard, I think this pack will help you tremendously. I mean, if you're adding 6 speed to 3 of your arena characters in a mid to very early, late game type shard. That's going to help you tremendously. And these pieces are good. They do go on some good characters. I mean, I think Ray, both these pieces, you can put both on Ray. I think there's both of them for Grandmaster Yoda. All sorts of characters. Boss takes one or two of them. I mean, these pieces go on good meta characters. So,
yeah. I agree with what Smoke here said in the chat. It's like if you're consistently getting top 10 anyway without the extra $70, I don't think that purchase is going to change anything for you very much. You know, and that's really ultimately why you're doing it, right? I mean, it's not going to help you that much in raids. I mean, you're still going to be able to clear the content. That's more end game stuff. That's more TW, like arena kind of thing. And if it's that you're trying to just get a little bit of an edge on somebody that's in your arena, then I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can get a lot more bang for your buck just trying to do that with mods. And you know, we do have that mod situation coming out pretty soon, I'm sure. So it may be better to just kind of hold off. I'm sure they're going to offer the packs for sale again. So again, I wouldn't go ahead and rush to make the purchase now. It also depends on the scenario that you're in. I mean, if you have the money to spend and you think that it would help you be able to get into the top 5 of your arena. Let's say you're in a super competitive arena, because you know the difference between a rank 5 payout and a rank 1 payout is tremendous. I mean, it's several hundred crystals every day. So if that would get you from rank 6 or rank 5 every day to rank 2 or 1, then yes, because if you think about the cost per just the crystals, you're going to make that money back in crystals every day over the next few months, very quickly. So, and that'll help you get more refreshes. In turn, it'll help your whole roster, right? But it has to make sense. And again, if it's not going to really tremendously help you in arena, then I don't see why it would be worth it.
I mean, if you already spend a significant amount on the game, then these packs are a very good value. I mean, if you're in there every day just plucking gear out anyway for crystals, this is a steal. But if you don't spend money on the game, or you're very very light spender, this is a little steep for you guys probably. But I don't know. I hate to recommend people spend money on this, because you can be competitive free to play, and that's why we do this show every week, trying to help people, succeed and whatever their spending habits are. But I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with you. Again, you don't want to tell people, hey, go spend $100 on gear pieces. But listen, what our job here is, or I mean, not really a job. I mean, we're here to have fun. But what we try to do is give objective advice, right? Like what we would consider to be the best choice, and I do that whether it benefits capital games or not. And that's because even though I'm a game changer and I work with the studio to release content and things like that, I'm not employed by the studio, and my main concern would be to be genuine to you guys, right, who watch me every day. So I mean, I'm never going to steer you the wrong direction. So I mean, I'm not going to say make a purchase if I think it doesn't make sense. Of course, I'm never going to tell you not to buy anything entirely, because the money spent on the game benefits the game overall. I mean, any money spent on the game helps capital games, but it also helps us continue to have the game. I mean, the only reason we have this game in the first place is because they make money from it. If they didn't, the service would shut down. So to keep the game going and for the life and health of the game, of course, spending money helps out. But I'm never going to steer you in the wrong direction and say, hey, you should spend money or shouldn't spend money. But what I agree with Maurice in that, for the value, I mean, it's there, but again, it has to be worth it, I think, for your situation personally. Just like a lot of things in this game, when you buy something, you know, you got to look at your own roster and your own situation and say to yourself, like, okay, how is this going to help me get more crystals? How is this going to help me advance my gameplay? And if you can't answer that question, then it's probably best to hold off.
Yeah. I mean, they're expensive, but they're good value, I guess. So, I don't know.
It's a good value in comparison to other purchases that you can make in this game. Right, like, you know, it's definitely a better value than buying a Chromium pack. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
You know, so, yeah, I agree. But, yeah, I mean, it's, by the way, if you guys have any teams that you'd like to see, I know I tried to play the prepared team for, I believe it was Thane earlier.
Yeah.
Or was it Takedown? I think it was Thane. Takedown, I actually tried to reach out to you on Discord to see if you wanted to join me and Maurice tonight, but you didn't answer back, so I figured, you know, if you get a chance, you know, hit me up and maybe we can work something out for next week. The first order,
I don't see too many suggestions in here, really.
If you guys have any suggestions for teams, you know, type them in. If you have any questions that you want asked on the stream, you know, you can type those into the chat. Maurice will compile them, and after we do the meta report and the top 5, we'll do our Q&A segment of the show. Now, I do see one question I want to address now, and that's Dane asks about the first order pack and whether it's going to be available during the BB-8 event, and we'll include all the first order characters, including the new ones.
Yeah, I didn't know the answer to that. I don't know if it includes like crew and executioner and special forces. I don't know if I didn't have to buy the pack. You know, I've had 5 first order for a while. The pack will definitely be available. They'll have something for first order when the BB-8 event comes for sure.
I would have to say yes. I mean, those characters are pretty free to play at this point. Again, I mean, is that 100% guaranteed? I didn't buy the pack personally either. But you also have to think to yourself, I mean, like, that pack for $80, that really just gives you, like, a little bit of a jump start. I mean, the farming process of it, you know, regardless of what characters you get, I mean, you know, you're not going to get first order Stormtrooper done out of that pack. You know what I mean? And first order Stormtrooper is the grind, right? It's for that team. So,
I would never suggest buying that pack, because that pack is not a very good value. However, I mean, I would wait to purchase it until the very end, like crunch time.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to get you over the hump to get the character, then yeah. I mean, if it's $70 or waiting 3 months, 4 months for the character to come back around, then yeah, I'd say go ahead. But I mean, if it's just gonna give you a little bit of a bump and not get you there, then it's not worth it. Yeah, I would save that pack for the end. Like, just try to farm everything first, like Maurice said. And if you're getting to that point where that pack is going to get you to the finish line, then do it.
Yeah, because I mean that would suck if you bought that pack and then ended up coming up, you know, like 5 shards short for 3 of the characters. Like, then you just pretty much wasted your money, and you can't get the character anyway. You know, but it won't be back for months. You have plenty of time to get 80 shards or whatever from the various farming spots. Even first order Stormtrooper, like you said, you got time to finish him. So,
right.
Okay, we did get a suggestion. Bastila, Grandmaster Lee, basically Bastila, Grandmaster Yoda, CLS, Ezra, and Darth Nihilus.
CLS, Ezra, and DN. What a combo.
Well, this one was actually ran on my shard by a couple guys. This Bastila's getting tore up on my shard. Now, you don't really see him. Like, I fell pretty far. I didn't get to play Arena for a day. I fell down to the 30s and 40s, and they're all there. But once you get into the top 20, it's just tray. The
reason Bastila's getting knocked out is because there's more Bastilas. You know what I'm saying? That's really the thing. Is like there's now a sea of Bastilas, like somewhere in the 80 to like 30 to 40 range. Like, you know, 20 to 80. Like, in that range, there's like a ton of Bastilas. And everybody's running that 3 or 4 star Bastila just kind of getting a better payout every day with that. And I could see this team doing very well. I mean, listen, Nihilus is the key component. What this team is missing to beat a meta team, like a Trey team, is a Nihilus, because you need to be able to annihilate another Nihilus. That's the thing.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, you don't have enough damage to like that Nihilus gets the stacking health.
Oh, you're not gonna be able to take him out. That's what it is. I mean, and also a nest. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. I mean, can you take out a nest otherwise? Yes, but that's really what you need it for, is take out nest and take out another Nihilus. And that's the thing, because once Nihilus starts stacking health, there's not many options out there to deal with him. The only real option I can think of, to be honest with you, is another Nihilus. You know what I'm saying? And at least that's going to be the best option. So what you want to do is get that Nihilus for competing Sith teams, and then obviously if you have a Nihilus against another Jedi team, or you're facing another Bastila team, Nihilus can help you expedite the process, because obviously there's so much stacking health and protection against another Bastila team that sometimes you can get timed out if you don't have enough attacks, or if you're facing against a team that's faster than yours, you'll lose. So getting the ability to just completely eliminate a character with one turn, like you do with Nihilus, can kind of turn the tables of the battle. So having him on the squad is pretty important. Again, this is not a team that's going to beat, I think, a Trey team. I'll try after this, but oh no, we have a Zeta on First Order Stormtrooper, of course. Yeah, every character in this team has a Zeta. Oh, this First Order Stormtrooper doesn't have a Zeta on the opponent. I got to check that. Let me see. That's not the same account as this one. That's a completely different account, so I'd have to check. And if it's not there, I could equip it, so that's not a problem. But that team is actually probably better. It's missing some characters, the other account, because it's not quite as updated as the account is that I'm using right now. I get all the brand new characters every day. I get them over there, but I don't spend the time to update all the characters. Let me just take a look and see what what Nihilus. I'm sorry, what.
Well, CLS is good on this team because he's got the buff immunity, right? You can just neutralize Sith Trooper, because that's the worst when you can't get to the other, the Triumvirate or the other four characters. Basically, you just can't get through that Sith Trooper. I remember we first started testing Bastila on your account here, like that. Every battle you face, there's just no answer for Sith Trooper. The CLS is good for that. Turn meter reduction. The buffs he'll land them, but they won't stick because it's Traya. But he does good damage, counters. So he's a nice piece to have in there. Good option to you start getting those buffs on CLS, and hit pretty hard. We had another couple suggestions here. He was
absolutely right about the no Zeta there. So now I've fixed that, and I've put Gear 12 Plus pieces on all the characters too.
We have Kira, Zalbar Mission, Vet Chewie, Vet Han suggestion, and we also have a Kira, Zalbar, Vandor Chewie, Zaris, and Wampa suggestion.
Okay. So now we're going to be facing against like a maxed out First Order squad with a Zeta on everybody, and they have full Gear 12 Plus on all the characters, all modded to the max. And these are pretty good mods. I mean, these are a Kraken's mods on this account. So and all the characters are modded there. So all right. So what was it? Suggestion? What was the first one?
Let's see. We got Kira, Zalbar in Mission, and then Vet Chewie and Vet Han.
Okay, so we got. Let's go Scoundrels. We got Kira, Zalbar, and Mission, and then Vet Chewie and Vet Han.
Yeah. Kira, Zalbar, Mission, and the 2 vets.
Okay.
Because I said I still have not landed a full Gear 12 plus piece from top 10. I got 2 full pieces the very first 2 raids after the update. I don't think I've gotten one since. I've been able to craft quite a few from the salvage, but no full pieces. Because even if you get the salvage for it, I mean, most of those pieces require stun guns, stun cuffs, you know, some of the purple components for the old Gear 12 pieces. So they're still hard to and time-consuming to craft.
Yeah. For sure. I'm just modding him up right now. Let me see here. We'll go with offense, right? Offense set.
Yeah, my Kira's almost done. Well, not almost. I need about 90 more shards. So maybe, I don't know, I should have her by the next weekend. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I've got most of the gear for her. Put the Zeta on her. Mission and Zalbar are going to be a while, but I'm real excited about Kira. You can use any of the scoundrels under Kira. It doesn't have to be these Han Solo characters. It's just a generic scoundrel tag. You know, you'll be losing on the prepared mechanics. I mean, you could put her with some of your old scoundrels, like Stormtrooper Han, Lando. You know, the vets. This guy suggested the vets, because veteran Han is actually quite useful under Kira. Just because, you know, Kira has that AoE stagger. Vet Han, who is pretty fast, it's very easy to clock them like 1 speed slower. You get, excuse me, you got like Kira with the AoE stagger, then you have Vet Han immediately follow her with his AoE. That just basically removes all the turn meter. He can stun and ability block on his AoE. I mean, Boba and 88 have very similar AoEs to Vet Han, but they're a lot slower. So you're going to need a lot more speed for that to work properly. And plus, you know, Kira has the assist that has a chance to expose. So if you call Vet Han, you know, he double taps. So on his first attack, he'll do a little bit of damage and then expose and then pop it immediately. So there's some damage. Kira and Vet Han are a very nice little combo. But you do have to invest gear in Vet Han, which is a questionable decision.
Yeah. Alright, so I just modded up Vet Han. Again, we're facing against you know, that's a crazy first order team now. Okay.
Well, this would be a good example for like TW, because this is a pretty common TW team to face.
I think Kira's about to get wiped out here. Oh no. Getting wiped out. I think that's mainly because I'm not really too versed with the mechanics of this squad. I mean, I've never really used Vet, Han, and Chewie other than that event.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I don't. And you know, Mission and Zalbar I've messed around with a little bit, but man, I'm getting
getting demolished.
I'm getting my claw cleaned here. Yeah. I mean, Vet Han, you know, hung out there for a little while at the end. That was kind of cool.
Well, that's just because nobody attacked him. It's just like
Vet Han, you know. But
well, you see his protection going up. That's some of that Kira lead, you know, and he's just a random scoundrel. You know, so any scoundrel, every time you crit, you know, you'll get a little protection back. Not very good versus Traya because of the crit avoidance, but it's I mean, you're only going to face 1, maybe 2 Traya teams every TW, so it'll be useful for everywhere else. Since you modded up some of them, hold on, we had another suggestion here, semi-similar. It's Kira, and yeah, Kira, Zalbar, Wampa, Zaris, Vandor, Chewy was another suggestion.
Okay, we'll do that in a minute. No, come on, man. Why is Kira so squishy?
Yeah, she's pretty squishy, man.
Okay. You know, I'm getting stuck behind this this FOST taunt. I don't know. I shouldn't have put that Zeta on him. I should have made this unfair.
Yeah.
I should have kept him. Should have kept him nerfed, man. That Zeta changed the game for him. Okay, so we're in a little bit better shape now. That I mean, again, it doesn't look like I don't think we're gonna win, but
which is the First Order is not the best team to test this against because this team has 2 damage over time characters. You know, well, you don't. I think there's only one Kylo. Yeah, Crew's on there, but the old if you get a team with both of the Crews on it, they don't take any damage from dots.
I mean, Executioner is just wiping the floor clean. I mean, Executioner is just taking people out. Yeah, maybe a different squad on defense. But wow,
I mean, this team
what a difference some Gear 12 Plus pieces make.
Yeah, yeah,
and some some Zeta. One Zeta literally was the only difference, but the Gear 12 Plus pieces, man. Okay.
Well, this is actually, I mean, this is also a good display of what your First Order is capable of if you invest the gear into them. I mean, if you put the Gear 12 pieces on them and then put the Plus pieces on them and mod them and Zeta them up, I mean, they're a very, very good team.
I'm gonna do it one more time, just like this. What was the team requested besides this one?
Kira, both the new Wookiees, Zalbar and Vandor Chewy. Then I believe it was Barriss and Wampa.
Oh man,
I just Vet Chewy is definitely like a PvE character. It just doesn't have, he stacks the offense, and I don't know. I'm not a fan of that character at all. I actually can use Vet Han in certain places, but Vet Chewy is he's pretty bad.
Let's see here. We need to get rid of First Order Executioner, like ASAP.
Oh yeah,
he is just dynamite out there. Okay, so
well, you see how Kira just put stagger on 4 of the 5 characters. I mean, you get an AOE to follow that up, and I mean, you just drain the entire team's turn meter. I think Krennic does Krennic have an AOE stagger too? There's another character that has it. I can't remember which one it is, but those AOE staggers are pretty cool if you can time it properly.
Okay, so we got rid of Executioner.
Well, Cuzzo says Vet Chewy is so good he always stuns and he melts faces. All right, well, I'll take your word for it. Sabine AOE stagger, that's what it is.
Stun the primary target for 1 turn, 8% chance to affect ability block on all enemies. Okay. Let's keep working on First Order here. See if we can get. Oh, he's almost done. Almost.
Like, I kind of want to work on Mission, but then again, I don't know how useful she's really going to be. Like, even watching this, she does okay damage. She does do a lot of dots, but they just keep cleansing the dots.
Oh, they're going to take Kira out here pretty soon. Okay, let's go for First Order Officer. Yeah. Yeah, Zalbar. Zalbar's making it happen. Yes. Okay. So the tides have turned here. And it looks like... Uh-oh. Maybe I'm speaking too soon here.
I apparently have offended Cuzzo with my Vet Chewy sucks comment. He's sitting here defending Vet Chewy. 26k basic. He melts faces. He stuns. Apologies, Cuzzo.
Yes. Okay, so now it's just Kylo. It's me and Kylo.
Well,
yes. Yes. The team is won. Okay, so we pulled that off. Not bad.
Yeah, so those of you watching it, if you get three attempts in TW, you can't take out a first order squad with this team.
If you try your hardest and you put your mind to it, you can do anything. That's what that means. Okay, that's what that is. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything in your life. All right, that's what that says for you. All right, but well, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad we did that. Okay, now we'll do. We gotta do the meta report. So let's get into that, and then we'll do what was the request for the next team? Was it Kira lead?
Kira, Barris, Wampa, Zalbar, and Vandor Chewy.
Okay, I promise you that we will do that team as soon as we get back. That'll be the first team that we do after the meta report. So let me just move into the meta report here. And we're going to kind of go through this rather quickly because there's not much change in the rank 1 leaders. So the only real difference I see here is it seems like there's some more usage of Kylo Ren unmasked. Obviously, Darth Treyas continuing to move up and now is on the verge of catching up with CLS for number 2. She's number 3 on the list. But we're seeing that Kylo Ren unmasked is kind of... Looks like he's kind of working his way up the list here again. But that's really pretty much it. I don't see much difference on here. What about you, Maurice?
Not really. We're seeing Treyas, gaining some traction pretty quickly. Kylo, that could be a combination of, newer shards because he is readily available to newer players. And he's super OP when you're like below level 85. Very good character, and you can't actually beat Traya teams with Kylo Ren lead. So that could be a case of people maybe using it on offense. Mm-hmm. Nothing really different. Just Traya slowly catching up to Palpatine.
Right, that's pretty much it. All right, moving along to our top 10 squad members at rank 1. Again, not much change here. There will be times in the meta where this thing changes every week or every other week, and we haven't had a period of time like that in quite some time. It's been pretty much Sith and Dark Side. So, before the Sith really took over, it was primarily Empire. With Palpatine lead, and then Palpatine has kind of continued to stay the course now that the Empire switched to a Sith meta. So it's really more of the bottom end of the lists that are seeing any differences, and I'm not really seeing anything different here other than Traya is seeing some more use, but we're still bottoming out the list here with Grand Moff Tarkin, and God bless all you Grand Moff Tarkin ites out there just rocking Grand Moff Tarkin at rank 1. But that's pretty much it for the meta report. So we're going to move on to our top 5 for this week. And this week we have top 5 Dark Side territory battles Zetas. Now this is pretty relevant because we just had a Dark Side territory battles. So we're just going to kind of dive into what are the best Zetas for Dark Side territory battles for the future. So if you guys don't have any of these Zetas, you should start working on it. But our number 5 Dark Side Territories battles Zeta is Emperor Palpatine. Why is Emperor Palpatine's leader such an essential Zeta for dark side territory battles, Maurice?
Well, because it applies to both Empire and Sith characters. So, you go in there and you have to platoon this character, that character. It really can mess up any pre-made teams you have. But if you get that lead on Palpatine, Zeta, you can kind of just pick and choose from your leftover Empire and Sith and make a decent squad out of it. I mean, even characters like SWGOH and some of the lesser used characters, you can throw them behind a Palpatine lead and they're usable. Just, I mean, it's number one arena. Everyone knows what it does. Just feeds massive turn meter. I mean, just all Empire and Sith characters are generally, pretty debuff oriented. And as soon as those debuffs expire, Palpatine's lead feeds turn meter to both of the factions. Just very good. AOE shock. I mean, just the character itself is fantastic.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
He's the best Empire leader in the game, even with Grand Admiral Thrawn there. And what I'm trying to say is the main benefit of Palpatine Zeta is that you can utilize him in multiple different ways. So, for example, if you're stuck with him as a leader for your Empire squad, because in some cases they choose like the leader for you, so like you have to choose like Vader or something like that earlier on. I forget which. That was before. I think now you can actually choose whoever you want as leader. But I know that there's certain ones where they select a leader for you, but if you don't have to use Palpatine as a lead, you get away with kind of saving him for a dark side battle. You can use him with your Sith. So, the leader kind of works both ways for you. It can give benefits to both squads, so you can have him as a leader of your Sith team with Sion and Nihilus, and kind of save him for another battle. For dark side battles, if you don't have, let's say, a First Order team or a Night Sister team or something like that to use, but otherwise, he's a fantastic leader for the Empire as well. And being that you need the Empire so frequently in dark side territory battles, he's obviously one of the go-to guys to start off with as far as the Zeta is concerned. But that is our number 5. Dark Side Territories Battles Zeta. Our number 4 Dark Side Territory Battles Zeta is Bossk. So, Maurice, why did you pick Bossk here?
Their leadership ability. I mean, it's probably the best bounty hunter lead. And, we have to use the bounty hunters for the special missions. There are combat missions that require bounty hunters. And this is probably the best lead. It makes them much tankier, harder to kill. Makes it a little easier to get through 4 waves of some of these battles. Recovering health and protection. Has a great contract. It gives 50 speed for the rest of the battle, which you can. I mean, if you do it properly, you can easily get the contract within the first, if not the second, phase of the battle, wave of the battle, and you can just go into that 4th phase. With 50 extra speed on all the rest of your character, so that's nice. Just a great character, and he's farmable now. So we people are starting to get him 4 and 5 star up high enough to where you can use him in the territory battles, and he's definitely worth the investment.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, yes. In a nutshell, there's 2 battles where you need to have bounty hunters in dark side territory battles. And there's no better leader for the bounty hunters than Bossk. And Bossk, being a tank as well, gives you an added layer of protection for the squad. He also has a fantastic ability to call and assist. And just overall is one of the tankier options, which is really what you want in a dark side territories battles, because the one fear you have is, let's say, coming up against some elites that might be able to overwhelm you and take you out of the battle. Which is probably going to be less likely to happen with a tanky character like Bossk, kind of protecting the way for your team. So he's a huge addition to the Bounty Hunter faction, and can definitely benefit you in both the earlier Bounty Hunter special mission and the later Bounty Hunter special mission as well. So he's a fantastic addition, and definitely a necessity to get that Zeta on him if you want to get the full potential, of his abilities. And he's the best leader right now for the bounty hunters as well. I know some people, think it's Boba Fett. And some people maybe even think it's Embo, now that Embo's out. But I'd have to say, Bossk, in my opinion, is still number 1. But that's our number 4, Dark Side Territory Battles Zeta. Moving along to number 3. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Let's see. Who do we have at number 3? Number 3, I believe, is going to be Crew. We just saw him in these demonstrations you've been doing. Just a great. I mean, his leadership is amazing. It's one of the best overall leads in the game, and there are multiple first order characters now. And again, if you have to platoon, Phasma and your first order type, if you can platoon a few and just throw whatever you have left behind the Crew lead and have a good chance of succeeding in any of the combat waves. I use First Order and Night Sisters, all the way across the board. Because, a lot of these platoons are real Empire heavy. So First Order is a great option, much like Finn and Resistance for your light side territory battles. Just a great non-Empire faction to use and reliable for the entire 6 phases of the Dark Side territory battle.
Yeah, I agree. He has one of the most bonkers leader abilities in the game, I think. And the only reason that he's not really more used, I think, is that there's still a missing component to the First Order squad. Again, every time Kylo Ren on Mask comes up, I talk about Supreme Leader Snoke and how he should be in this game. And if he was, I think, as a support character or even as a leader, I think you'd see more and more Kylo Ren Unmasked out there, especially if he had some 6 support abilities for, let's say, First Order, calling in, assist or healing the team or, who knows. But, I mean, I think that's they're just missing one kind of piece or 2 kind of pieces that would keep them from being, a fantastic squad. They really have a lot of good components. First Order Stormtrooper is fantastic. First Order Executioner is fantastic. So I think that they're missing like 1 or 2 pieces to really make them a meta squad out there. But his leader ability with the crit damage and the ability to give speed. I mean that's just bonkers. Getting 30 speed plus 40% crit damage out of a leader.
Yeah, and you get turn meter from critting and all sorts of stuff. Just packed full.
It's just like a bounty hunter. It's like a Boba Fett lead with a Qui-Gon Jinn lead and an HK-47 lead, like mixed into one.
Yeah,
it's bananas. So I mean, yes, if there was some other pieces to that team, I think they'd be one of the better teams out there. Yeah, and maybe Hux, absolutely. Toyota, I agree. Hux would be a cool addition too, if they added that to the team. Who knows? I mean, obviously there's another movie coming. So we'll have to see what happens. But that's our number 3 Dark Side Territories Battles Zeta. Moving along to number 2. The number 2 Dark Side Territory Battles Zeta in the game is Asajj Ventress. So, why we got her here?
Same thing, pretty much as Crew. Just the Night Sisters are unbelievable in Dark Side Territory Battles. I mean, if you had to pick one of the 2 factions to focus on, I would definitely focus on the Night Sisters. Just, again, if you have to platoon a few of your Night Sisters for this area and this area, you can throw what you have left behind an Asajj lead. Just, turn meter reduction every time they fall below, 100% health. They get turn meter themselves, a speed lead, extra offense, just everything you need to succeed in Dark Side Territory Battles. And not to mention just a super powerful kit. I mean, you get the AoE going, and you can just clear the whole phase, the whole wave, in like some of the earlier phases of the Dark Side TB. Her lead makes a lot. Perhaps I'm a homer, but I mean, for this particular game mode, it's fantastic.
I agree 100%. I mean, the Asajj Ventress lead is almost essential for Dark Side Territory Battles if you don't have the Mother Talzin lead, and either which way you go, I think that you're going to be okay. I do think that you get more bang for your buck from the Ventress lead overall, but this is a team that you could basically run if well geared on auto and all the way through phase 6 and get your win. So if you have a well geared Night Sister team with, let's say, Asajj Ventress, Mother Talzin, You know, I'd say Old Daka, Night Sister Acolyte, and let's say Night Sister Zombie, or Night Sister Spirit and Night Sister Zombie. I think you're getting an easy auto victory in Darkside territory battles with this team, all the way into Phase 5 or Phase 6. I don't know if you want to risk it on Phase 6, maybe for the first couple of rounds or first couple waves, but then when you get into the last wave there in Phase 4 or Wave 4, you may want to, you know, go ahead and control it by hand. But you can basically auto your way to victory with that team, and anytime you can do that with a squad, especially in a phase that takes you sometimes 20 to 30 minutes to complete out of your day, in addition to doing arena and ship arena and any challenges and events that you have to do, plus doing your dailies and any raids or anything like that that you have to do. Obviously, being able to have a team that makes it a little bit easier for you is a tremendous value, and Asajj Ventress' Zeta definitely does that. That's for sure. So that's our number 2 Darkside Territory Battles Zeta. Moving along to number 1, Maurice. Who do we have here, buddy?
General Veers. This will be the only time General Veers probably makes number 1 on any list. But that Zeta is just fantastic. It's required for Darkside TB, and then maybe not him in particular, but almost every single phase of Darkside TB requires at least Snow Trooper, right? So I mean, if you have to use Snow Trooper, let's just go ahead and make a whole Imperial Trooper team, put Veers in the lead, and it shines in this game mode. It's mandatory for that P6 special mission. You have to have it. That mission is pretty tough, and I don't know if I would be able to do it without that Zeta. It's a great Zeta, and we're getting Range Trooper soon, so your Imperial Troopers are probably going to get a lot better with the inclusion of that character. This is a nice Zeta to have, and kind of the only Zeta you really need on an Imperial Trooper team to make it viable in Darkside TB and also TW. You got that Veer Zeta, you can kind of build a team behind it. So
I can't wait for Range Trooper. That's going to be so exciting. I love the Range Trooper character. He adds so much value to the Imperial Troopers, and I think he'll be a great addition to Darkside Territory Battles also. So we'll get talking about him when he becomes a little bit more readily available. But talking about Veers, he just adds another layer of viability to the Imperial Trooper squad with this Zeta. And aside from the Darkside Territories Battles value, there's also a Territory Wars value here to this Zeta that basically allows you to almost annihilate any Night Sister squads that you come across in Territory Wars. So having the full Imperial Trooper squad with this Zeta on Veers can basically help you get through a lot of battles in Territory Wars also. So it's kind of a double bang. It gives you some good value there, and on top of that, it's required. I mean, this is a character that you're going to have to use several times in Darkside Territory Battles, and that Zeta is almost a necessity in order to get through those phases and those waves. So, I mean, I would say, this is probably going to be one of the first, if not the first Zeta that you put on a character for Darkside Territory Battles, just because it comes up so frequently, and it's part of the special missions, so you need it. And your guild is going to be upset if you don't do it. So you have to. This is one of the first Zetas I did when Darkside Territory Battles came around. And at that time, there weren't really a lot of great Imperial Trooper characters. And besides maybe Snow Trooper and characters like that. But I really wasn't working on an Imperial Trooper team per se. I just did it because, obviously it was a necessity. And it's one of the things you had to do for your team. You know what I'm saying? So I was glad to get it done. And now that I have it done, I could see the tremendous value in it, for things to come as well. Especially like Maurice said, as we get Range Trooper. So looking forward to that. That's our number 1 Darkside Territory Battles Zeta. We do have an honorable mention as usual, and this week's honorable mention for Darkside Territory Battles Zetas is Imperial Probe Droid. So, why did you choose him for the honorable mention this week, Maurice? Well, I wouldn't say him. I'd probably have to say it.
All right, sorry, my Wi-Fi dropped there for a second. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So, why do we choose Imperial Probe Droid as the honorable mention?
Well, it's if you use it carefully, there's a lot of cleansing mechanics in the Rebels have a lot of cleansing mechanics, but they also have a lot of buffs, and the Zeta on this prevents any target locked enemies from buffing themselves. There's going to be no foresight. There's going to be no taunting, for instance, from the soldiers. It will prevent a lot of the buffs that they do. Like, those spies, they'll go stealth, they'll give themselves defense up. Just prevents all that, makes it just much easier. And I have this Zeta, but I never tried the P6 mission without it. But the general consensus, or at least what I've been hearing, is it is much easier, that P6 special mission, with the IPD Zeta. So, just one to think of. And unfortunately, with all the Gear 12 Plus pieces, and we got stronger mods coming, his self-destruct is kind of losing some of its value, as it can't kill characters anymore. But still a very good character. AoE Dispel, which is always useful with the target lock. So
right. And that's why he deserves an honorable mention. He's not number one, but he does add a lot of value in that regard. The Zeta is tremendous, especially for certain waves. I mean, for example, throughout the course of the battle, I mean, you're going to be target locking enemies, with Probe Droid, also, preventing these rebels who pretty much live off buffs from getting any buffs. So it's a tremendous Zeta in that it's preventing, taunt, for some of these characters that are going to be taunting. It's preventing, a lot of different things across the board, and especially for a faction that pretty much lives off those buffs. It's going to be a much easier battle with this Zeta, and I think it's essential, for the last special mission as well in Dark Side Territory battles. Some of us may not be there yet, but when you do get to that point in Dark Side Territory battles, it's going to probably be pretty much an impossibility to get through that portion of it without this Zeta. So it's definitely something you want to look into and start thinking about now, as far as allocating Zetas is concerned, unless you're working on your arena team or something like that first.
Yeah, this Zeta should not be one of your first, 20 Zetas. But if you've been playing a while, this one's an option. Like we talked about Veers, we talked about Probe Droid. I mentioned Snow Trooper. I think there's Vader in Darkside TB. Like any character and these characters are the required characters of the game mode. They'll never be in platoons, right? So, I mean, that alone gives them a little extra value because they'll always be available for you to use. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. But that's
Robbie. Droids become viable. He'll be great when droids become meta. Yes, he will.
Yes, he will. He will, absolutely. If you think about adding maybe some stacking offense onto that self-destruct, that could be pretty insane. Who knows what'll be in store for the droids in the future? Hopefully good things. But that's our top 5 Dark Side Territory Battles Zetas. That's courtesy of the Alliance, good old Maurice, and me, and we appreciate you guys checking that out. If you like that, please leave a like on the video and smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But what we're going to do is we're going to move back on now into some more arena battles. I'm going to do that request that we had earlier. And then while we do that, if you can drum up some questions that we've had throughout the show, we'll get through some questions now, before we wrap up the show for the night.
All right. First question is from Smoke 311. Think we get the mod color preview at least this week. I guess they're releasing the mod update in segments. Is that correct? I've heard that from a few people. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but Basically just asking when this mod stuff will be available for us to like live in game. When do we get the patch for this stuff?
You know, I'd have to say very soon. The testing for it is pretty much wrapped up at this point, and I know that there's definitely you know, a lot of information about it now that's come out. We've had some mod interviews about it. They've pretty much given us like all the screenshots about it to this point, shown us how it's going to work, explained that there's going to be salvage that's going to be obtainable, even explained where we're going to be getting some of that salvage from in the new raid rewards update. So I think that it's more than imminent. I'd say it's right around the corner, if not right on our doorstep already. So I think, yes, it's probably going to happen in increments, and I'd say probably within the next 7 to 10 days, if I had to give my guess. But I don't know that for a fact. Listen, I'm a game changer, and I should probably know this by now, but I don't. So I was giving my honest opinion. I'd say, you know, at the latest 2 weeks, but my opinion, 7 to 10 days, we'll have this. That's just what I think.
But I don't know what's going on with my camera here. I'm just going to turn it off. It's like sharing my screen.
I can fix that. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was going on here. Hold on.
Let me try this. All right, am I back on the... There we go. All right.
You're good. You're good to go. Now, what's the what's that request for the team again? Kira?
Kira, Vandor, Chewy, Zalbar, Barris, and Wampa.
Okay, so we got...
let's see. It's showing good old Maurice's browser history. Cuzzo, out of my business, man. No, somebody asked a question about Darkside TB. I was seeing if I had a video for it. No, I don't know if I have it uploaded. The next question.
You said Kira, Zalbar.
Kira, Zalbar, Vandor, Chewy, Barris, and Wampa.
Barris and Wampa. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, this is the one. It's kind of a, you know, Mobile Gamer made that video showing off the Kira and the two Wookiees. This is not the exact team I don't think he showed, but this is kind of just, this is an interesting one. This is a team I'm actually interested in building eventually. This is going to be long term. What's up, Drew Dog? Next question comes from, get to it here. I got way too much stuff open. All right, this from Dane Sorensen. If he wants to know, he's running EP lead with Vader, Thrawn, Scion, and Tarkin. Would it be better to add Sith Trooper and Nihilus and gear them in prep of starting to farm Traya? Yes. Definitely Nihilus. You should be gearing Nihilus regardless of what team you're running in Arena, because you can always just, like we saw him earlier, plug him right into that Bastila team. Nihilus is the ultimate plug-and-play character. It only gets better with Scion and Traya, the Triumvirate. So I would maybe keep your team together until you get Nihilus caught up a little bit, but I would probably put a Nihilus for Tarkin as soon as you get him ready. Sith Trooper's a good character, but he's a gear hog. He takes a lot of stun cuffs, and it could take you a while to get him up. But he is someone you probably want to passively work on too, because he fits, you know, under the EP lead and also eventually your Traya lead that you're working on. So he'll always be a usable character. He might not be meta forever, but he'll always be usable for Darkside TB, for TW. It's a good character to have in your inventory. Both of those, for sure.
I actually, you know, speak of the devil, just got my Sith Trooper to Gear 12 today. And it did take a little while, and I'll tell you, he is definitely a gear hog. But there is tremendous value there, especially behind a Traya lead. You know, with his ability to you know, regen health, and you know, basically he goes right through. You know, he basically bypasses protection in some cases with his abilities. He's just a great tank for whether it's a Palpatine team or a Traya team. and I think that's you know, he's like Maurice said, not going to always be a meta character, but while the Sith are meta, you know, he will be always a you know, a good addition to one of those squads.
All right, next question is from Cuzzo. He's asked, what's the best lineup for the Phase 6 special mission? I keep losing on round 2. You got to get that Veer Zeta, and IPD, I guess, are the 2 required characters, yeah. So you probably want to, what I use is a trooper team. Veers, Snow, Stormtrooper, Shore Trooper, IPD, I think is what I use. No, Starks, excuse me. Starks and a tank. You're probably not going to have Shore Trooper. You probably got to cough him up for platoons. But I've done it the last 2 times. Veers, Starks, Snow Trooper, Storm or Shore, and then IPD. But you got to be careful because you got to be careful in platoons because there is also an Empire exclusive mission up in the middle zone. So yeah, you have to keep 10 Empire characters essentially for P6, so that can make it kind of stressful for platooning. But I just use the troopers plus IPD for P6. How about you, man?
I gotta tell you, I was focusing on the battle. I missed it. Can you just explain? Can you give it to me?
It's just basically what he used for that IPD Veers mission, the special mission in P6.
Yeah, I pretty much use IPD. I mean, obviously you need to, but I mean, I use.
Here you go. I found a video, but this is a full P6. I don't think anybody wants to watch 26 minutes of Dark Side TB, but let's see if
yeah, for the most part, same. I mean, I'm using Sith. There's 59 seconds left in the battle, and let me try to auto this and see if I can pull it
that's
off.
exactly what I used. Snow, Starks, Stormtrooper, Veers, and IPD, and I've got full protection still on what I beat it. So
I use a Shore Trooper. But yeah, Veers, Starks are good options. I also use I believe I use Death Trooper as well.
yeah, it's just, I have a developed Stormtrooper, a pretty good Snow Trooper, so I tend to usually give up my Death Trooper and Shore for the platoons, or if not, I keep them for the Empire exclusive mission and kind of pair my Death Trooper with Krennic. But the character, it's not so much the characters, it's the strategy and how to play the mission. Like, with that Veer Zeta that we talked about, anytime you kill an enemy, you get turn meter. Right. And the Snow Trooper also gets turn meter when you kill a rebel enemy. So really, you want to just kind of dwindle them all down and just kind of finally put the killing move on them when your team's low on turn meter, so you can just keep going and going and going and going. I mean, it's
Snow Trooper is just great in a Imperial Trooper squad.
Yeah, he's really good.
Really
good. He is totally a Dark Side TB like character.
Yeah,
pretty exclusively. So he's a huge investment for one game mode, but you need him, so it's kind of tough. Yeah, and Modingo makes a good point. You have to have Stark above 250 speed to keep the turn meter train rolling. That's definitely true. You want Starks by far the fastest character on that team because even if nobody else on the team has any speed, you get Starks that speed. He pops the double buffs. He gives the turn meter to the rest of your team from the Veers lead. So it's definitely Stark. What's up, Teals?
It's definitely a good team. This team with Traya, with Barris and Wampa. Like at no point in that battle with First Order did I feel like I was going to lose health. Like once we get to health, once the protection's gone, there's nothing that's done. But there's just 0 damage on this team too. It's like it's missing damage for sure. So I don't know what the answer is, but there's definitely a component that needs to be worked on.
All right, we got. Well, this team though you're using, yes, it's built to be like a timeout defensive team, right? But like if you lose Wampa, you have no offense whatsoever. You're just going to sit there and time out for 3 battles, which I guess is useful. I mean, that's good for TW defense. I mean, I'm assuming he's asking to see this for TW defense, because this team really doesn't give a lot of buffs to itself. You know, so you're not going to lose what little offense you have against Treya.
We just lost Zaris. That sucks.
Yeah. I'm not real familiar with Vandor Chewy at all, but he does have a revive mechanic. I'm not sure if that only applies to scoundrels. I should probably look so I can learn with you guys here. And this is a character I'm not going to have for a long time. I'm hard noting him, but he's only 4-star.
I mean, again, this team is like really annoying. This Sith Trooper team here, but I could see this working against a lot of teams. It just, again, it would be like a slow crawl like every fight. Like, I mean, you would win. Like, I just beat First Order, but it took me literally to the last. There were 5 seconds left on the clock, and I had to auto it. So that's how long it took to take them out with no offense, you know, especially against a team that's regenerating health and protection. So
yeah, when another light side scoundrel ally is defeated, revive that ally at 60% health if Vandor Chewy is prepared. So if he's prepared and you lose Kira, or I guess that would be Zalbar too. I guess if you lose either of those, they just pop right back up at 60% health. It's not gonna do anything for Barris or Wampa, but
yeah. Any more requests for teams?
Yeah, there was a couple here. Let me highlighted where he asked that. Oh, yeah, we got basically all the Wookiees in Wampa. Vandor Chewy, Zalbar, Clone Wars Chewbacca, Wampa.
We're doing an all woodsman team here.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know who then the 5th. Oh, I guess Vet Chewy. Yeah, Vet Chewy.
Yes, we're basically going all Harry and the Hendersons here.
Yeah. You might want to check Clone Wars Chewbacca. He might not have any mods on him. But you got that one, and then just saw another one.
Is there another one?
There was another request, yeah. I'll look for that, so I have it ready for the next one.
So it's Clone Wars Chewy, Zalbar, Vandor Chewy, Wampa, and who else?
Vet Chewy.
Vet Chewy, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, this one will be a doozy. All right. Let's see.
Well, I gotta take out. I'm gonna put regular Clone Wars Chewy in as a leader, and then put.
Well, I think he's the only lead on the team.
Only lead on the team, and.
No, you got to put swap him in. Yeah, I'm watching the stream. I'm a little delayed.
I'm equipping his gear and stuff right now too. His mods and stuff right now too.
All right. Next question, while you set it up, is from Drew Dog. Who is more important to Gear 12, Sith Assassin or Sith Marauder?
Neither.
Well,
I would say Sith Assassin.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Just for no other reason that she does have a ship now, so that gives. I don't know much about the Sith Marauder. A lot of people have said he's a good character. I just don't. I don't have either, or I don't have Sith Marauder. Maybe Gear 9, maybe. I do have a Gear 12 Sith Assassin, but I never use her ever, ever.
Sith Assassin also gives turn meter to the entire team, and Sith Assassin is a very fast character. For a lot of different things, Sith Assassin can definitely provide, value. I would say Sith Marauder has some value too in a Sith squad, but again, I think that if you're talking about one versus the other, I think Assassin has more value.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. It'd be interesting to see Sith Marauder under Darth Maul. I don't have a Zeta Darth Maul lead. I could see him being kind of cool in that team. I'm not sure if anybody even uses Zeta Maul anymore with Traya.
I'm sure he's out there somewhere.
Yeah, Sith Assassin, because I said, I used to take first with Vader plus Sith Assassin. Sith Assassin has had her days in the sun. I just don't think she's meta right now. I don't really see too many other questions. If I missed anybody's questions, just retype in the chat here. Got a couple more requests for teams, but I really don't see too many questions. There's some discussion about Acolyte and the new Acolyte. They did change her. She no longer double taps on her basic. She just does, double damage on one single attack. And instead of the 70% chance of stealth, it's now 90%. So that's pretty much how they decided to fix her. And it's fair. I don't see any problem with it. She does hit super hard on her basic. I mean, my Acolyte's basic attacking for these dark side TBs for 40k. That's pretty impressive,
Yeah, for sure.
But you do lose a little bit of value underneath that Asajj lead, just because you get one chance to take away Terminator now instead of two. So it definitely was a nerf. It's one of the very few times they've actually nerfed the character. So that's interesting. It's been a long time. But then somebody asking about the zombie. I'm not sure exactly if they've fixed zombie.
The last time they nerfed the character was Poe.
Yeah, like Poe, Barriss, and they used to do it more frequently.
Yeah, Barriss. Yeah, oh man, I remember the Barriss. And the worst part about Barriss is they sold Barriss right before that. They sold Barriss in that heroin pack, and she was like so OP before that. And then you sell this like OP character, and then as soon as everybody bought that, they basically, oh no, the Chewie team's going down.
Yeah, this is old school Barriss too. Like, yes, they kind of tweaked her Zeta a little bit, but this is real way back in the day.
Well,
Barriss.
This is before protection. I mean, she was just the best healer in the game, right? And she also was able already. I mean, because of her equalization, to bypass healing immunity. And this is when Sidious, with his healing immunity, was like the king of the world. So Sidious's healing immunity was basically irrelevant against Barriss because she could heal right through it. And on top of that, she also was like healing way better than anybody else. So they nerfed her heal, and then they also nerfed her damage, and she went from being like a pretty decent hitting character with a great heal to being an okay heal with 0 damage on her basic attack. So yeah, she got nerfed pretty hardcore. But so you're saying that's it as far as the questions is concerned?
Well, we got a couple more. Drew Dog asking about the little further into the Sith here. He's trying to split the Sith team, the Triumvirate, Sith Trooper, and Dooku, but then Palp, Vader, Thrawn, X, and Y. Sith Assassin would be good on that Palp Vader team. And I actually used to run Sith Assassin a little slower. She's actually the last to go on my team. So, all the Sith, like Vader will give Terminator everybody, make Vader the fastest. He gets Terminator everybody else. Everybody else goes. And if you clock your Sith Assassin to go last, she speeds everybody else up. Again, Marauder would probably fit on that team as well. Again, I don't know too much about Marauder. And then we had another one here. That people are asking for Ewok team. There's some discussion about how you do have to mod them right, and that's 100% true. Like if you were to run an Ewok team here live on the stream, it really wouldn't showcase.
I would have to prepare that.
Yeah,
that would be a situation where, like, if you want to see an Ewok team, you tell me, and next week I'll have them prepped. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So for next live show, I will have the Ewok team ready. I mean, they all have Zetas and all that stuff, but I'll make sure they're modded right, and they have all everything they need so that we can do some testing with a full Ewok squad. I'm not going to be able to do that today though, because that would take a lot of work.
Jaden Fisher asked, do you recommend spending crystals on Bastila shards?
Absolutely, spend all your crystals on Basilica.
Well,
No, I would say if you're able to, if you're placing first in arena every day and or close to it, and you're getting enough crystals where it's not going to hurt your daily crystal purchases, like where you're still be able to get your refreshes done every day, you're still going to be able to get your cantina refreshes done. As long as you can still do all the things that you needed to do in the game, and you're not it's not going to affect you in any way, then there's nothing wrong with allocating some crystals to give you a little bit of a boost with the character, especially since Bastil is probably going to go into like a hard node or something like that. She's such a popular character, and she's doing so well. She's probably not going to go into like an easy farmable node. So whenever that happens, you want to have as much of a head start from the shipments as possible. So it's okay to spend some crystals here. I just did that yesterday. I mean, I had like a few. From my payout, I had just no crystals I spent money on, but some crystals I had for my payout. So I spent what was it, like 1,200 crystals to get 16 Bastila shards, and that set me back for a couple of days, but I'm still able to get my stuff done. I had a few thousand crystals, and once I get done with all my stuff, as long as I still have enough to get everything done, I'll keep getting my payouts over the next few days. I'll get back to the point where I have enough to maybe make another purchase, and yeah, I'll grab another 16, and over time eventually I'll just get her done, and then eventually whenever she drops into a farmable node, I'll work on her there as well. So
well, yeah, you really got to see, like, you don't want to buy her and then she's like in the second table of Cantina, which I don't think she'll be, but I mean, if you're itching to buy a character out of shipments, I would probably buy Nest first, because Basila is totally viable at 3 and 4 star, whereas Nest, you really do have to put those gear 12 or put those gear 12 pieces on her to make her withstand some damage. It's tough to suggest shipment farming until you see where they are. Like, Bosk, you can make a case, maybe he's semi worth it, I guess, because he's a single hard node. It's going to take you months to farm him.
Right.
It's just I don't know. But it's kind of interesting how quickly they just bumped them up in the cadence, which kind of suggests that maybe something is coming, like legendary event-wise. But if that's the case, buying Bastil's not going to do you any good, because you'll have to have all 5 of these Old Republic characters, So having one at 7 star and the others at 3 star isn't going to help you in terms of the event. So, but yeah, Muhammad's saying he'll help us out on the Ewok building. I guess he runs them. A very, very good TW offensive team. But I don't know really where else you could use them. You can make a below average, raid team if you have them. But
by the way, for those of you in the Alliance, we are going to be having a contest for the new guild. So apparently, Phoenix and ORO, 2 of the largest guilds in Galaxy Heroes, period, part of the Alliance, merged to create a community called the World Alliance. Right, so they're looking for somebody to help them with a new logo, and I believe what they want to do is have a contest, and the winner's going to get a Google Play gift card. So they want to see who can come up with the best logo for the Alliance, the World. I will actually have some more information about it in the Alliance server. I'll post it during this week, and I'll also next live show, I'll put up some sort of a drawing about it, so you can find out some more information, and I'll explain where to send that. But if you have any ideas, you start to get them together now. It's going to be the Alliance, the World Alliance, and they're going to give out a prize for the best logo that people come up with. So it's pretty cool. Also, I'll be making a video about a Q&A, or about questions from you guys. So I'm basically going to take the Q&As that we have, but I'm going to take it to the next level and just do a video just kind of showcasing your questions. And the place to ask those questions is on my Discord server. So if you're not on that server already, in the link to the description of this particular video, you'll find a link to my Discord server. You can just join there now, and there's a section there called #AskRamon. Go to that section. You can ask me any question that you like, and as long as it's appropriate, I will do my best to get it on the video, and then I'll include who asked it and answer the question, and put that video out sometime. I'd say in the next 7 to 10 days or so. So if you like to ask a question and like to have it on a video, definitely go to the link in the description. Go to my Discord channel and ask the question in #AskRamon.
Yeah, I posted the link in the actual chat here too. So it's that Discord link I just posted.
Come on, guys, come hang out. But I think that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody hanging out, with us so late, as usual. I always say that to the point where it's like, it's not late for all you guys. Like, some of you guys are East Coast, so it's just starting to get late for you guys. I'm sorry, West Coast, so it's starting to get late for you guys. But for me and Maurice, it's just about 2:15 in the morning, and it's a great time to talk about some Galaxy of Heroes. But it's also a great time to get prepared for work tomorrow as well. So we're going to go ahead and do
yes.
that. We're going to go ahead and do that. And I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with some more antics and hopefully some more information about the mod situation. And who knows, maybe some new characters, maybe some new things, some new updates from the game to talk about. But again, I will get together the Ewoks and some more information about that contest for you guys for next week. And if you have any questions that you'd like to have asked on the video, again, I'm going to be doing that over the next few days. Follow the link in the description to my Discord and come ask the question in #AskRamon, and I will do my best to get it on the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and may the Force be with you. Me and Maurice will see you next week. Stay tuned. Have a good night, guys.